Oh, I scared her. This is Project Daisy. Hopefully you saw the very beginning, where she was just sitting in and amongst them, like one of the gang. Now, Daisy, her primary job is security. She runs security around here. Now, when we got into this, we didn't know that Daisy was going to be running security. We got her, well, we did. We knew she was going to run security for the house. What we didn't realize was that she hates going inside, and then she can only really be outside. She's an outdoor dog. And she can further, she's fully autonomous, actually. She thinks for herself completely, and she'll take input from you if she feels like it, but she almost always makes the right call. You know, there's a lot of evolution and a lot of design, whatever you want to call it, that went into her creation. And so she's an incredible animal. And I once heard people talking about their farm with all the animals, and I asked which one was the favorite, and she said the dog. And I thought, oh, well, that makes perfect sense. It is the dog. The dog is man's best friend, and has been incorporated into the distributed model of food gathering and food security and security for as long as man could remember. So dog is an accolade to Daisy the dog and dogs. What are they, lupus, or what is the name for them? Canine. They are a wonderful species, and they're so smart in ways that we don't even understand sometimes, especially that emotional and or that primal instinct that they have. It's so interesting. And these goats, they just, when they're left to their own devices as much as possible, they do it better. Case in point, if you're trying to help the kids along, they've got such a bizarre care that they need. You can actually overfeed the kids, the babies, and so these mamas know what's best, better than people do, and I stand by that. I think animals just kind of they know what's going on. They can do it by smell. They do it by, of course, instinct. They do it by cunning. Don't let anybody tell you either of these animals are not very cunning animals. They are, and so I just accolades for Daisy, Project Daisy. If we could find a way to just take what she is, fix just a couple of things. We don't need to change anything about you, Daisy. But if we could replicate her somehow in a reliable way, I mean the best way is to just have that relationship with your shepherd. I found anyway. And then it just becomes, it's worth it, that bond that you get. It's like one of the best friends you'll ever had. I think any dog owner will agree. The dog can and does make themselves useful in your life, and emotionally, in terms of their utility, all of that. They're just incredible animals. And so if you want to be able to supplement your food, you have to be able to reach out with this. It's sort of an adaptation of the hunter-gatherer lifestyle that preceded it, allegedly. You've got yourself a model that had worked for a very long time, wherein the food sort of gathers itself. And these drones, if you will, these goats, they've got their return to home function. They come home almost every night on their own, and Daisy almost every time helps them along if they don't. And every once in a while, the human comes in and scoops them up if something happens. Like the other day when our Danda goat went off in the mountains by herself to have her babies, and we had to go in there. And as I mentioned, overconsumption, or you know, it's tough because, you know, the security, we could have left her in the woods, and the security wouldn't have been there, or we could have gathered them up. And I feel like we made things harder for her by moving the kids inside after she had posted up for the night. And so she had to kind of refigure things out, you know, on a cold, dark night. And so, you know, the point being, and again, these animals have that return to home function. These animals are just naturally good at what they do, which is to not get themselves eaten in open pasture. And I mean open. No, I mean when you fence it, those animals are now acting in their own nature, but inside of constraints which is not in their nature. So they, you know, they can adapt, and they do adapt to it, but the food thing, or the survival rather, is more of a dependency at that point, and less of them doing the work for you. So I think it's worth kind of exploring sorry, a car drove by. I was checking to see if I had filmed it or if I had to edit that out, but I forget where I was. These goats are they're just incredible food gatherers of their own, and this society, which could be changed a little, wherein that natural instinct is sort of shunned, even though, like, where do you think food comes from? You know, you can either do it this way, which is no chemicals whatsoever, very healthy for the land, restorative even, or you can do it the tradition, or non-traditional, but the new mechanized way that they've been doing it of late, whereby it's all just made into a process, and it almost eliminates the natural aspect, which is, as we've been able to show, and I'm sure, you know, we're not unique in saying, it is a very easy to operate food supply. And what an intriguing meal for your guests. You know, most people have never, in my country, the United States, have never even tried goat. What an intriguing thing to offer your guests as a treat, as a one-time thing. If they're going to stay at your hotel and charge their electric vehicle or gas up with old fuel, it doesn't really matter. It just matters that you've got a way to bring the missing element to all of this, which is a little bit of commerce into your life out here, which is so just, how do you say, peaceful. And so we're building out here a lifestyle that can be maintained, enjoyed, built upon, modified, but with, you know, a platform that you can stand upon, that makes sense, that can be duplicated. This is not hard to do. What's hard is the constraints of the certain, you know, rules that might belittle the natural utility of these wonderful creatures. I would enjoy finding out if this can be duplicated, or if I'm just a quirky guy doing this, and nobody else could possibly do it. But I think it's the former. I think it is, anybody can do this. I really do, because the more I get involved, I find, almost invariably, after the fact, I find out that I was screwing it up. Nature takes care of itself. And on that note, this barn that we have, because it went to -9, this hay we put out on top of our septic, the barn having a bunch of hay in it, straw, insulation, nature does that best too. And I mentioned, I don't know if it was this video or the one I just did a couple of minutes ago, but we've got that greenhouse. It's got the heat coming in from the sun actively and passively, It's got the pond inside of it to collect all that heat during the day, and it can serve as a battery. So I don't like lithium. I think they are necessary, and I think they are top of the line. I think they are cutting edge, and I think they need to be replaced as soon as possible. Do you hear how quiet it is here? It's really quiet. I think when you're in the city, if you don't, Chicago, if you live outside of Chicago, you think Chicago is a terrible place to visit. But if you live in Chicago, you think the whole world is like that with all the shootings. And, what I'm referring to is the shootings. And you might, in a city of that has however many hundreds of thousands or millions of people, I don't know how many people live in Chicago, but that many people, you might hear gunshots all the time, but it might not ever affect you. Whereas here, you might never hear you'll hear gunshots all the time, but it's just people firing off their rounds, for fun, into the woods. It's just sort of the culture out here. It's not. Whereas maybe it's the culture in Chicago to be very to be like that. I don't know, but out here it's not like that. And what I found in all my travels, all my flying around, out here, this is the boonies. This is where most places are on this planet. This planet being consisting of lots of cities with lots of people in them. But when you go in between those cities, if you fly around, especially at night, to see the lights that are turned on, it's city for a while, and then it's just openness. And so I think water, energy, and commerce are the three biggest reasons, and because it just takes forever to get anywhere, that are inhibiting this being the place where people want to be and are able to be. We're working on, I'll add also food, since we're looking at food at the end of the day, plus guard dog. We've got a way to keep it going. We've got a way to keep it from harming the environment. We've got a way to enjoy this for everybody. That I think can be shared, scaled, modified to suit your individual needs, whereby this can work. If you scale your infrastructure, I use that word scale. If you scale your infrastructure, it makes it, what it does is it makes the commerce thing happen for it too, whereby the energy, the commerce that otherwise would have been lost in the equation anyway, is converted to something usable. Not just usable, but something you can thrive thereby. And I love the birds out here. They're way better in the spring. Right now it's I mentioned it was -2 last night. Maybe that was the other video. Anyway, I mentioned it was -2 Fahrenheit, that is to say, and it got really cold last night. All right, well, anyway, I'm getting short of myself here, or long of myself, which was it? The twisted words are no longer making sense at times, because I have been rambling now with this production for about half an hour. So anyways, I hope you are having a good time, and I hope you're thinking about ways that this distributed thing I keep talking about could be applied to a model for a paradigm shift whereby this sound, which you might not hear, called silence, can be enjoyed by more people, and more of this stuff, this nice nature stuff, can make your life better and the world better, as long as we're not getting in anyone's way. Anyway, wecharge.com, without the E, chdcoin.org. It'll all be in the description. Use that description to find all the important and pertinent links to this and other discussions that we're trying to get going, so that we can always think about the future of distributed energy, distributed food, distributed clean water, all of it, really. Anyway, my name's Joseph. I'm the founder of CHG and We Charge. Take care.